Welcome or welcome back. My name is Tab and I love to talk about books. Welcome to the 7th episode of my Read It and Return It series where I read books from the library and when I'm finished I return them. Or Kindle Unlimited. I feel like I do read a lot of Kindle Unlimited books. The first book I am going to read in this episode is Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. And I have been wanting to read this book for so long, literally months before it was released. And it's just very intimidating. It's almost 500 pages long and it's not a romance. I can definitely power through a 500 to 600 page romantasy, romance, any type of book that has a romance element in it. But this is not being, marketed as a romance. It's basically 3 siblings' father passed away and they're all fighting for control of the business, very much like a Succession, a la telepathy, pyrokinetics, very much sci-fi vibes in this book. So it's going to probably take me a little bit of time to get through this book because it's not a genre that I completely just rage through. So here is what the description is. Where there's a will, there's a war. And basically the father of modern technology died. Any one of his 3 telepathically and electrokinetically gifted children could be a plausible inheritor to the Renfair throne. And that's interesting. Renfair, I am currently reading Silver Elite, and the main character in there is called Ren. So it goes over pretty much all of the children. Meredith, textbook accomplished eldest daughter and the head of her own groundbreaking biotech company, has recently cured mental illness. You're welcome. Okay, so I think this book is going to be very funny and I'm hoping it gives like Succession vibes where the sibling dynamics, they love each other, but even more than loving each other, they love to screw each other over. So I'm here for it. Arthur, the second youngest congressman in history, fights the good fight every day of his life, and yet his wife might be leaving him and he's losing his re-election campaign. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Once the world's most famous ballerina has spent the last 5 years as a run-of-the-mill marketing executive at her father's company after a life-altering injury put an end to her prodigy career. She might be lacking in accolades compared to her siblings, but if her father left her everything, it would finally validate her worth by confirming she's been his favorite all along. So I'm going to hop into this book, try and get a chunk of it done, and I will be back to update. Okay, bear with me for this recap of Gifted and Talented because this book had so much. There is no way that I could recap what this book is and 100% do it justice. So take what I'm saying with a big grain of salt. I ended up rating this book 3 stars and it was 3 spice. Now the only really person who had spice was Arthur, and it was kind of like a taboo spice. He was part of a throuple. So he was an addition to a married couple. So that there's stuff that goes on between those 3. Okay. So this is a sci-fi book. It deals with like telepathy and pyrokinetics. I've said this before, it is like the HBO series Succession, but in its own way. It's the same as the patriarch of the family, the dad, Thayer, who is in charge and built and is CEO of a extremely profitable company that kind of created magic. He passed away. He has 3 children who are all like misfits in their own way, and they all want to be CEO. When I first started this book, And the three characters, all I could think of was Kendall, Roman, Shiv, Greg, Tom, Connor, Willa, like all of that. And it gave me so much nostalgia. And of course, Logan, who is their patriarch. So it was nice to kind of get back into it. But that's kind of where the similarities end. I'll go through a little key, points of each sibling. There's Meredith, who's the oldest. She is 30 and she is the genius. She has developed a way to cure mental illness until her ex-boyfriend Jamie threatens to oust her. She gives me very much like Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos vibes, like 100%. She's so easy to hate, it's not even funny. In the beginning, you are just like, God, this woman is unbearable. But she is a genius. She doesn't care about social awkwardness. She doesn't care about hurting feelings. It's very interesting to see her character grow and develop. I think in this book, her character had the biggest growth and development, where towards the end of the book, I actually started to enjoy her. And then there's Arthur, who is 29 and the only male sibling. He is a congressman who is going up for re-election. He is in a polyamorous relationship and he's married. His wife, Jill, is kind of just like his manager. She has her own quirks and idiosyncrasies that I'm not sure Arthur knew before marrying her. They're obviously a match for the public. It wasn't really like a love match. He believes he's on the brink of divorce. I wonder why. He's in a polyamorous relationship, but the wife knows, and the wife is like quasi okay with it. All he wants is to just be loved. He is so Roman Roy. I can't even. He's the goofy sibling. He's always trying to make light of everything and cheer everyone up. He's the only one who gets along with Meredith, and they have like their own bickery banter, which reminded me so much of Roman and Shiv. It was just, I enjoyed it so much, and he got along with every sibling. So even Ailey, it's just like Roman got along with Kendall and Shiv. I keep referencing it, but this was the only way that this book was really hooking me. There was just so much in this book. There was so much plot. There were so many people. Each one of these people in the book had their own kind of like story arc, and it was a lot to kind of remember or like digest. Third sibling, the youngest, who's 26, is Ailey. And her name in the book is spelled Eildh. I had to actually get the audio version so I could understand how her name is pronounced, but it's pronounced Ailey, which is like such a beautiful name. She seems the most stable. She was on her path to being like a New York ballerina. She had everything going for her until she had an injury. And now she had to take a job at her father's company. I believe it was called Ren Fair, and she was in marketing. So she did the job, she showed up, but her dream and passion and what she was driving herself for every day was to be a prima ballerina, which she had so many accolades already, and this was just like a huge setback to her life. It did bring her in depression. She always felt like she was the black swan in the family. The two older siblings, Meredith and Arthur, they had like a weird but normal relationship with each other, and Ailey was kind of always alienated, and it really bothered her. She also has a strange ability to cure things, but it has extreme repercussions. And Arthur kind of does too. They all have this like telepathic, kinetic, like energy inside them that they just cannot control. And oh my God, it is like a crap show, the things that go wrong with these people. There is so much backstabbing in this book. You're getting whiplash because you're going into one conflict, then another conflict, then they're making up, and then, oh my God, someone's pregnant. It is a wild ride, but it was very entertaining, and it was over 500 pages. So a book definitely needs to keep you turning the pages, especially that long. And romance is not a plot nor like really a subplot in this book, and for me that's really difficult, but it worked good. So here are the things that's in this book. Okay, family drama at its worst. There's boyfriends, people are possessed, there's scheming, there's pregnancy, there's secretaries, there's apocalypse, redemption, second chance romance, very side, broken friendships healed, death, huge character growth, and fires. This story is just bonkers, but it was so worth it. The next book that I'm going to read is Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I don't have the book with me upstairs, but I can't wait to read it, especially after reading this like very dense and outlandish book. It is going to be a nice New York City summer rom-com. I ended up finishing Summer in the City by Alex Astor, and I ended up rating it 4.25 stars, and it was 3 for spice. I was so blown away on how much I enjoyed this book. I did not think I was going to be so involved with these characters. I thought it was going to be another light, fluffy, everyone's joking, and there's like no real connection. But I was so wrong. Follows Elle and Parker. They have a chance hookup in the stairwell at a club in the beginning of the book. And they're both in New York City, but they live in California. So on the opposite side of the country. They're getting ready to go home the next day. So they figure, well, at least Elle figures, c'est la vie. One in Rome. So they end up hooking up until Parker makes a couple comments and Elle is like, I have to get out of here. Fast forward 2 years, Elle is still hung up on this chance encounter in the stairwell, and Parker is living his best life, I guess. Elle's sister asks her to oversee her apartment renovations in New York City while she's out traveling on a bunch of baby moons before her child comes. So she agrees to go back to the city that completely ruined her, New York City, and lo and behold, who is the only other occupant on the 60th floor, the penthouse suites? None other than Parker Warren, the tech billionaire that she had a very mild hookup with 2 years ago that she cannot get out of her mind. So eventually it comes out that Elle remembers Parker, and at first Parker pretends that he doesn't remember her, but then towards the end it gets discovered that he did remember her. I'm not sure if it was right away or after talking with her for a little bit. So as Elle is overseeing these renovations, she's also trying to write a screenplay that is based a summer in New York City. It is a romance. She is a very successful screenwriter already. She makes her own living. She's not like down on her luck or anything. And then, sorry, I'm watching a hornet literally just got inside the screen door. Okay, anyway, I love the summer, side tangent, but we have so many hornets. Now, granted, they really pretty much leave us alone, but it's still the fact that they're so big and they're just like here. And now I see how they're getting in. And thankfully, it's like French doors that we really don't open, but still. It's still annoying. Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I did not really like Elle's character. She had so much I am a woman, hear me roar. It was too much. Listen, girl, I'm a female. I'm all for feminism, but like Parker is doing everything
for you. I mean, this guy sold his jet because you said that it wasn't environmentally friendly. He bought 89 diamonds for you or something because that's how many days you guys have known each other. He purchases apartments. He buys you dresses. He wants to buy you houses. Like, listen, overkill, yes. Real world, no. But she just always made him feel like crap because his love language is clearly gift giving and hers is not. She was so hard on him and he was so understanding and patient with her. And it kind of got to a point where a relationship really should be 50-50. And she just seemed like she was so mean. She was like making this guy jump through hoops. And it was like, listen, any other woman here would be jumping in line to be you in this fictional world. So just like ease up a little bit. There was definitely a third act breakup, and what I'm finding is these third act breakups, they show like 18 months in the future, 1 year in the future. Like, these people were broken up for quite a bit, and usually it's like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. That's what I enjoy because it's more like easy for me to understand. And I've said this in another clip before, that if you genuinely love someone like you're making it seem, you can't just go over a year without trying everything. And in these books, it just seems like they stop talking and no one is trying to reach out to the other person. I don't know. So it's like a lot of miscommunication thrown in, and that is a trope I also really don't like. Parker is so swoony. It is like stupid. And sorry, there's like a helicopter coming. It's windy. Oh man. And it's just like Elle is so undeserving, and it made me so aggravated. Because listen, I'm not trying to say that every female needs to be bought all of these gifts and treated like a fragile little being, but give him something. Like, let him do what he thinks makes other people feel happy. Yes, have a discussion, talk about it, put, stipulations and some, boundaries. But she was just so mean. Like, don't do Parker like that. Ugh. I would say pick up this book if you love lovers to enemies to lovers, screenwriter, CEO, tech billionaire, set in New York City where these surroundings are very much a part of the story. And it is so swoony, it's depressing. And it's very much fake dating. It has forced proximity. She, gets sloppy after drinking. He takes care of her. Things like that. This book, it was really good. Regardless of how much Elle's character irked me, she still came through for me in the end. So I would definitely suggest picking this up. And it is such a great beach read or summer read, 100%. The next book I am going to pick up is Saltwater by Katie Hayes. I thought it was Kathy at first. This book has been in my house waiting to be read for so long. So the description says, on glittering Capri, anything can be a mirage, and no one holds a grudge like family. From the New York Times bestselling author of The Cloisters comes an electrifying thriller about an opulent family retreat to Italy that's shattered by the resurfacing of a decades-old crime. I believe this was a mother of a young child mysteriously ends up not being alive, and now the daughter, who's older, is trying to figure out if it really was the mother's own doing or if there was foul play. And the cover in this, like I said, this is also looks like it would be such a great beach and summer read. So I will be back once I finish to give you a update on how I like the book.
Hold the phone. I have another 5-star read for 2025. Oh my God, this book was amazing. It is Saltwater by Katie Hayes. This book was so good. What I say isn't going to nearly do it as much justice as it should, but it is so deliciously scandalous. It is set on the island of Capri in Italy. It is a huge wealthy family, the Lingates, who have seemed to evade any type of scandals or public spotlight or anything negative about their image for way too long. 6 kind of main players. So there's a lot going on in this book, and you don't like them all for 100 different reasons, and no one is who you think they are. No one. You think you have a grasp on these characters, or you can tell where the plot is going, then you think you're correct until you are proved horrifically wrong. I have never been surprised at myself for like messing up a plot of a thriller. This is a thriller book. They're usually very, like cookie cutter. We all know how it goes. I was so floored by this novel. I have no idea if it's just me. I could just be out of my element for thrillers. Sorry if you can hear the weed whacker in the background. But oh God. So there are a few side characters, and it basically starts with Sarah Lingate mysteriously dying when they take their annual family trip to the island of Capri. She never ends up coming back home. She has a 3-year-old daughter, Helen, at home, and Helen pretty much grew up without a mother. Fast forward a couple decades, and now Helen is going to the annual trip to Capri. There's Helen's friend Lenore also comes, which is Helen's uncle's assistant. So there's a lot of players that are like interconnected, and Helen has a boyfriend, Freddie, and you just don't know who to trust. There's too many people, and it's literally like a carrot dangling in front of you the whole entire book. Like, you think a plot is going to be exposed and it's not. And then when you think it's exposed, 5 chapters later, it's completely ripped up. You were 100% wrong, and there is a whole new ending to that plot. I enjoyed this book so much. I don't think I can explain it enough. The epilogue was amazing. How I wanted this book to end, it ended. And that's usually where thrillers get me. They get me until the ending, and then the ending happens, and either a character I like doesn't really get the justice, or they just kind of fade off to black. Helen got everything I wanted her to get, whether it is good or bad. And then there's housekeepers and maids and childhood friends. There was so much. Please just pick up this book. I enjoyed this book so much. It was such a great thriller, and it's set in Italy. Perfect beach read, perfect pool read, perfect summer read. It is just a perfect read all along. All around perfect read. Okay, enough jibber-jabbering. So I will do a quick recap of the 3 books that I read for this video. The first one, Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. I rated it 3 stars with 3 spice. The second book I read is Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I rated 4.25 stars with 3 spice. And the last book I read, Saltwater by Katie Hayes. I rated 5 stars with no spice. Thank you so much for taking your time out to watch my video, and I hope, if anything, out of these 3 books, you please pick up Saltwater. I will see you in my next video. Bye.